So I am good if you are, Jeanette.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me see if I can get this to forward without everything freaking out on me. That would be nice. Okay, there we go.
Okay, I'm Jeanette from the Beakley Library, and my co-host is Jennifer from the Newington Library. We are collectively known as the two J's. And tonight is Lord of the Rings trivia. And so there's a few things that we'd like to go over. So while we're asking the questions, we would like everyone to stay muted. No yelling out answers. Your brain power only. No using any devices, your phones or anything to find answers. This is an honor system and whatever. Whatever, you know, you're going to score your own answers, and hopefully everyone's honest with that, and we haven't had any trouble at all. So spelling and pronunciation does not matter, especially the two hosts who can. So be kind to us, because we frequently flub place names and people names and everything. And have fun. And to be eligible for a prize, you must submit your contact info into the link. The link's also in the chat. I think, do we have 5 categories, Jen?
We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have a bonus round that does not count.
So how this is set up, if you haven't been with us before, we will start, Jen will start with the first category. She will read the questions, give you time in between to write your answers down. Then we'll go over the answers. And then we'll go to the next category. So, and like we said, have fun. We have fun. So here we go. Category 1.
Okay. And okay. All right. So our first category is people. All right. Let me just move all of my random windows to this side. Everyone go away. Here we go. Okay. All right. So Jeanette, if you can keep an eye on our participants, because I'm going to be focused on the screen. All right. So question 1 for 1 point. During Bilbo's birthday party, who had to wash the dishes for stealing fireworks from Gandalf's wagon? For 1 point, during Bilbo's birthday party, who had to wash the dishes for stealing fireworks from Gandalf's wagon? Okay. Question 2 for 1 point. Who does Sam marry at the end of the Return of the King? For 1 point. Who does Sam marry at the end of the Return of the King? Okay, moving on to question 3 for 1 point. What is Bilbo's relation to Frodo? For 1 point, what is Bilbo's relation to Frodo? Okay, question 4 for 1 point. How many wizards are there in Middle-earth? For 1 point, how many wizards are there in Middle-earth? Okay, question 5.
Did you catch that person, Jen?
Yeah, I admitted that person who popped up. Yeah. You're not snoring. All right. Question 5 for 1 point. Who becomes king of Arnor and Gondor? For 1 point, who becomes king of Arnor and Gondor? All right. Question 6 for 1 point. What does the name Legolas mean? For 1 point, what does the name Legolas mean? All right, moving on to question 7 for 1 point. What feature do dwarf women share with their counterpart male dwarves? For 1 point, what feature do dwarf women share with male dwarves? All right, moving on to question 8 for 1 point. How does Frodo know Sam? For 1 point, how does Frodo know Sam? All right, moving on to question 9 for 1 point. Name the Dark Lord Sauron's fortress in Mordor. For 1 point, name the Dark Lord Sauron's fortress in Mordor. All right, moving on to question 10 for 1 point. What do Merry and Pippin steal from Gandalf? For 1 point, what do Merry and Pippin steal from Gandalf? All right, moving on to question 11. For 1 point, who is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. For 1 point, who is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. All right, moving on to question 12 for 1 point. In the Two Towers, who is Saruman's spy in Rohan? For 1 point, in the Two Towers, who is Saruman's spy in Rohan? Okie dokie. So that is, so we have 12 questions for people for that category. So let's see these answers. And you can just mark off on your list if you got them right or wrong, okay? All right. So for question 1, Merry and Pippin were the ones who had to wash the dishes for stealing fireworks from Gandalf's wagon. Merry and Pippin. All right, question 2. Sam marries Rosie Cotton at the end of Return of the King. He marries Rosie Cotton. Right, question 3. Bilbo is a cousin of Frodo. We will accept second cousin, but he is a cousin to Frodo. Frodo is Bilbo's cousin of a certain matter. All right, moving on to question 4. All right, so there are 5 wizards in Middle Earth. I believe we only have 3 of their names. The other 2 never get actually discussed, I believe, or probably in the supplemental material, but there are 5 wizards in Middle Earth. Thank you. Yes, the blue wizards. Okay. All right. Moving on to question 5. So Aragorn becomes king of Arnor and Gondor. Aragorn.
Jen, did you see that? Chris, Chris, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just curious. I was typing in the chat. Who's the 5th? I know Gandalf, Radagast, Tom Bombadil, and
It's Tom. I
Saruman.
thought Saruman, Radagast, Gandalf, but then we never know the 2 that we have 2 blue wizards.
So there's Tom Bombadil, right? Or is he not in Middle Earth?
I don't think he's a wizard. I don't think they ever actually
Not a
say.
wizard? Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
So we don't meet the other 2?
I don't think so. I mean, I've only read the 3 trilogies and then The Hobbit. I haven't gone past that, but I think it's really just, yeah. Someone else correct me if I'm wrong.
Bill says never beat the blue wizards, and according to Bill,
I trust Bill.
We need to trust Bill. I trust Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Thanks, Bill. Okay, so question 5, Aragorn becomes king of Arnor and Gondor. Okay, moving on to question 6. So the name Legolas means green leaf. In one of the languages that game was made, gets called Legolas Greenleaf a lot, or in certain things, but it literally means green leaf. Okay. moving on to question 7. Dwarf women share the feature of beards with male dwarves, meaning that they're sometimes hard to tell apart. So beards for question 7. All right, moving on to question 8. Frodo knows Sam because Sam was Frodo's gardener. He's just a gardener. So Frodo was Sam was Frodo's gardener. All right, moving on to question 9. Dark Lord Sauron's fortress. So the Dark Lord Sauron's fortress in Mordor was called, Barad-dûr. Someone else next me. But it was spelled out like.
Barad-dûr.
Say that again, Bill.
Barad-dûr.
Okay, I was close. Thank you.
Good thing we have Bill here for pronunciation correction. Thank you, Bill.
Okay. All right. Moving on to question 10. So Merry and Pippin steal a giant dragon firecracker from Gandalf. We'll accept firecrackers, a dragon firework thingy at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring when they have that party. They steal that giant firecracker. All right. All right, moving on to question 11. So a wizard or Gandalf is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. So from here, we will accept either wizard or Gandalf, either or, because I believe the direct quote is, he says, a wizard is never late. So either one, we'll accept either one.
What the heck happened?
You're good. Okay. All right, moving on to question 12, last one for this category. So Saruman's spy in Rohan is Grima Wormtongue. Grima Wormtongue. If you even just have the last name Wormtongue, we'll accept it.
We're easy.
We're very easygoing, yes. We're no policing here. Okay, so we're about to move on to the next category. Does anyone have any questions, concerns?
I do. Can you repeat I'm sorry, can you please repeat number 3?
3? Okay.
Yes,
All the way back to 3. Okay, so Bilbo is relation to Frodo is cousin. I know you might think he's a nephew, but he is technically a cousin.
okay, all right, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I believe Frodo's father was a cousin to Bilbo, and so it's like second cousin or something like that.
All right, 'cause, I thought he always said uncle, but that's okay, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been affectionately uncle or something.
My
But-
niece's kids I call them my
Yeah.
nieces and it's my cousin's kids. I call nieces and nephews, but technically they're cousin once removed. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like that kind of thing.
Bilbo
Right.
was an only child, so yeah, he doesn't have any brothers or sisters to have a nephew. So just cousin. I know we know way too much here. Okay. All right. All right. So let's
Thanks,
go.
Melanie.
Oh, all right. So we're done with the first category. So let's move on to second. Take it away, Jeanette.
Okay, our second category is places.
Okay.
Question 1 for 1 point. While traveling through the mines of Moria, which member of the Fellowship of the Ring is killed by Balrog? For 1 point. While traveling through the mines of Moria, which member of the Fellowship of the Ring is killed by the Balrog?
Okay.
How am I doing, Bill? Okay.
So just say okay when you want to move forward.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jen. Number 2, question 2 for 1 point. Where does the Fellowship of the Ring break up? For 1 point, where does the Fellowship of the Ring break up? Okay, everyone ready for question 3? For 1 point, What is the name of the local pub in Hobbiton? For 1 point, what is the name of the local pub in Hobbiton? Okay, I hope everyone's ready. Question 4 for 2 points. One for each animal. What 2 animals are seen when the hobbits are in the Inn of the Prancing Pony? For 2 points. What 2 animals are seen when the hobbits are in the Inn of the Prancing Pony? Go ahead, Jen. Question 5 for 1 point. What frightened the orcs in the mines of Moria? For 1 point. What frightened the orcs in the mines of Moria? Okay, everyone's ready. We're moving on. Question 6 for 1 point. What are the 2 watchers that form an invisible barrier that couldn't be passed through? Question 6 for 1 point. What are the 2 watchers that form an invisible barrier that couldn't be passed through? Okay, ready for question 7? For 1 point. What is the name of the elven town where the House of Elrond is located? For 1 point. What is the name of the elven town where the House of Elrond is located? Sorry, I
got
I skipped ahead and then I'm like, I have to go back. Okay. Next question, question 8 for 1 point. In the Fellowship of the Ring, what is the name of the ferry the hobbits used to escape the Black Riders? So question 8 for 1 point. In the Fellowship of the Ring, what is the name of the ferry the hobbits used to escape the Black Riders? Okay. Question 9 for 1 point. Where did Aragorn first meet Frodo? Question 9 for 1 point. Where did Aragorn first meet Frodo? Question 10 for 1 point. Name the union that opposed Sauron and the armies of Mordor. Question 10 for 1 point. Name the union that opposed the Sauron and the armies of Mordor. Question 11 for 1 point. Oh, great. What race did the Nazgul used to be? Is that how you say it, Jen? Bill?
Nazgul. I would use Nazgul.
Question,
Yeah, you're good.
Question 11, 1 point. What race did the Nazgul used to be? Okay, so like true confession here.
No.
I have not read any of these books. I saw these movies like a really long time ago. So, you know,
You're doing your best.
yeah, I'm doing my best. Okay. Question 12 for 1 point. What causes Merry and Pippin to grow taller than other hobbits? Question 12 for 1 point. What causes Merry and Pippin to grow taller than other hobbits? Does anyone need us to go over any of the questions?
Question 3.
Question, okay.
Yeah.
What is the name of the local pub in Hobbiton? Are you good, Phyllis?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so Jen does the PowerPoint, so let's see those answers. Total points for this category are 13, if you get them all right. Okay. Answer number 1, Gandalf is the member of the Fellowship of the Ring that is killed by the Balrog. Question 2, Amen Hen. That's
Yeah.
The Fellowship of the Ring breaks up. Amen pen. I hope. Question 3. Green Dragon is the name of the local pub.
Oh, in Hobbiton.
Question 4. A cat and a ferret are the two animals that are seen when the hobbits are in the Inn of the Prancing Pony.
Wonder if you just got cat.
1 point then.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
You're welcome.
No, Bill, that's not right.
Oh God, don't say that.
No, I got it completely and utterly wrong.
Oh, okay, okay,
I had no idea.
That might be the movie one. I don't know.
okay. I should like put you on a different screen because otherwise I'll freak out. Question 5. Uh-oh. Balrog was what frightened the orcs in the mines of Moria.
Saying that
Is it,
a
or
lot.
is it Moriah? I don't know.
No, it's Maria.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Emily. Question 6.
You picked a great category.
Uh-oh. Carved statues of the Tower of Cirith Ungol.
I have,
Watchers.
this is a hard one. This is a hard one.
I wrote the twin statues. Is that still 0?
Mm.
We'll take it, Phyllis.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Jeanette.
Nice to see you. Okay,
I also wrote guardians because they were also the guardians of,
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Bill says anything that says statues is good. Question 7. Rivendell is the name of the elven town where the House of Elrond is located. Question. Bill, you're confusing the issues here. Question 8. Buckleberry Ferry is the name of the ferry that the hobbits used to escape. Question 9. Bree, where Aragorn first meets Frodo.
Can
Okay.
we get the
Question?
prancing pony?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Because yeah, and the N is in Bree, so you went even deeper. Yeah. And
Okay.
so if I wrote end of the prancing pony, is that a 1 or a 0?
that's a 1.
No, that's a 1. That's a
Okay,
1.
thank
You were just being more specific.
You know,
Which is
I haven't seen or read this in like 10 years, so
You're doing good.
You're good, Phyllis.
thank you, everybody.
Question 10. The last alliance of elves and men is the union that opposed Sauron and the army of Mordor.
No, was not, no.
Question 11. Men.
Yay.
That's what race the Nazgul used to be, men.
Yeah.
Question 12.
0.
The water in Fangorn that causes Merry and Pippin to grow taller than other hobbits.
Oh, bad for your best. 1.
Okay. Jen's up next.
I am. Anybody have any questions? Need to dispute anything? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next category. All right. Okay, so our third category is kind of going to focus kind of on the books. So maybe a little bit more detailed, we shall see. All right. So question 1 for 1 point. who wrote the Lord of the Rings series? For 1 point, who wrote the Lord of the Rings series? All right, moving on to question 2 for 1 point. How many books are there in the main Lord of the Rings series? For 1 point, how many books are there in the main Lord of the Rings series? All right, moving on to question 3. Speaking of how many, please name the books in the Lord of the Rings series. For question 3, please name the books in the Lord of the Rings series. All right, moving on to question 4. Okay, for question 4, for 1 point, what is the name of the Ent who carried Pippin and Merry through Fangorn Forest? For 1 point, what is the name of the Ent who carried Pippin and Merry through Fangorn Forest? All right, question 5 for 1 point. In The Hobbit, what was the name of Thorin's elven sword that originally came from Gondolin? In The Hobbit, what was the name of Thorin's elven sword that originally came from Gondolin? All right, question 6 for 1 point. What was the name of Bilbo's and then later Frodo's sword? For 1 point, what was the name of Bilbo's and then later Frodo's sword? All right, moving on to question 7 for 1 point. In The Return of the King, who kills the Witch King? For 1 point, in The Return of the King, who kills the Witch King?
Oh my God.
Okay, moving on to question 8 for 1 point. How many hobbits initially set out from the Shire? For 1 point, how many hobbits initially set out from the Shire? Initially is bolded for a reason. All right, moving on to question 9 for 1 point. What is the name of Gandalf's horse? For 1 point, what is the name of Gandalf's horse? It's a white horse, has a majestic entrance. Okay, moving on to question 10 for 1 point. What is the name of the book that Bilbo is writing? For 1 point, what was the name of the book that Bilbo was writing? All right, moving on to question 11 for 1 point. Please name Sam's favorite pony. For 1 point, what was the name of Sam's favorite pony? Okay, and then last question, question number 12 for 1 point. What was the riddle that Gandalf could not figure out to open the door? For 1 point, what was the riddle that Gandalf could not figure out in order to open the door? All right, so we're about to look at the answers. Total points for this category is 14. Does anyone need a repeat of questions or anything? Any questions?
Just number 7 again,
7?
please.
Okay, so question 7 for 1 point. In The Return of the King, who kills the Witch King? For 1 point, in The Return of the King, who kills the Witch King? Okay, make our way back up. All right, drum roll, please, and let's see those answers. All right, so J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the Lord of the Rings series. I would accept just Tolkien as well. As long as you got Tolkien in there, I'm happy. Okay. All right, moving on to question 2. So there are 3 books in the main Lord of the Rings series. I'm not counting The Hobbit, unfortunately. I'm just counting the 3 books in the main Lord of the Rings series. It's a trilogy. Okay. With that in mind, question 3. So
Ugh.
name the trilogy, all 3 books in this series. We have Fellowship of the Ring, we have The Two Towers, and we have Return of the King. And hopefully you got them because we've said them several times already during this game.
So if you only got 2 of those right, I'm so sorry to bother you. If you only got 2 of those right, is it still 0?
No, so it's a point for each one.
Oh, okay.
So if you only got 2, then you get 2 out of the 3 points. If you did all 3, you got 3 points. Okay, moving on to question 4. Treebeard was the Ent who carried Pippin and Merry through Fangorn Forest. The Ent's name was Treebeard, who carried Pippin and Merry through Fangorn Forest. All right, moving on to question 5. All right, so the name of Thorin's elven sword that originally came from Gondolin was Orcrist, seen in The Hobbit. Orcrist.
Does that translate to goblin cleaver, and would that count?
Yes and yes.
Thank you.
You gotta love the he made up languages, and it's like, oh my god, yeah. Yes. Okay. Moving to question 6. Sting was the name of Bilbo's and then later Frodo's sword. Sting. All right, moving on to question 7. In The Return of the King, Éowyn kills the Witch King. Éowyn.
How about if I wrote Miranda Otto? That was her real name.
Oh, was that the actor?
That's the actor. I
Oh.
put an A because I couldn't spell her name. And then I know she had blonde hair, but her real name was Miranda Otto. I mean,
That's the actor's name. I mean, I guess.
But this was on the books, right?
Yeah, we're kind of focusing on the books here. So
all right, that's all
yeah.
right.
Sorry,
It's a-
Phyllis.
It's
You
all right,
did
it's a
that.
0. Remember the real name. I couldn't remember Éowyn. Oh, my
I didn't
God.
even know her name. I didn't know Miranda. Okay. All right. All right. Moving on to question 8. All right. So I'm looking for 2. I wanted just Frodo and Sam, who initially set out from the Shire to go on their journey, on their quest.
And that's 1 point, right?
Yes, just 1
Okay,
point. Yeah, because the
okay.
answer is 2.
Okay,
And my
thank you.
justification is Frodo and Sam. Merry and Pippin hop along later.
That's right.
Okay, moving on to question 9. Shadowfax is the name of Gandalf's horse. Shadowfax. Okay, moving on to question 10. The name of the book that Bilbo was writing was There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Tale. I will accept There and Back Again. I will accept Hobbit's Tale or any combination of it, but it was There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Tale. All right, moving on to question 11. Sam's favorite pony was named Bill. Bill was Sam's favorite pony. Okay, moving on to question 12. Last one. So the riddle that Gandalf could not figure out on how to open the door was speak, friend, and enter. Speak, friend, and enter.
Close.
All right. All right. So that's it for the third category. Any questions? Anything I have to go back over? Otherwise, we will continue on with the fourth category. Okay, all right, moving. on.
Okay. Category, oh,
Sorry, go
any
ahead.
points was that? On the slide before.
What was that?
How many points altogether was that?
Oh, 14, I believe, without actually going all the way back. Let me check. 14.
Yeah, that,
Yeah, so the third category had 14 points total. Is that okay? Are we good, Jeanette?
yes, I think so, right? Whoever had, asked that question.
Got it. All right, let me continue on. My PowerPoint is yelling at me. Okay. there
Should
we
we
go.
look at the chat? Was there?
Yeah, I'm looking at now. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, great. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Fourth category, the movies. Go ahead, Jen.
There we go.
Which actor was originally cast as Aragorn in the movie? For 1 point. Question 1, which actor was originally cast as Aragorn in the movie? I think, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm so, okay. Go ahead. Is everyone ready? Next, question 2, 1 point. Who did play Aragorn in the movies? For 1 point, who did end up playing Aragorn in the movies? Okay, question 3. For 1 point, who directed the Lord of the Rings movies? For 1 point, who directed the Lord of the Rings movies? Okay, moving on to question 4. For 1 point, where were the movies filmed? For 1 point, where were the movies filmed? Question 5. For 1 point, which actor played Samwise Gamgee? For 1 point, which actor played Samwise Gamgee? Okay, question 6. For 1 point, does Aragorn say what does Aragorn say right before charging into the last battle in Mordor? For 1 point, what does Aragorn say right before charging into the last battle in Mordor? Question 7 for 1 point. Which actor played Gandalf? For 1 point, which actor played Gandalf? Question 8 for 1 point. Liv Tyler played what character in the movies? For 1 point, Liv Tyler played what character in the movies? Question 9 for 1 point. What company produced the Lord of the Rings movies? For 1 point, what company produced the Lord of the Rings movies? Question 10 for 1 point. Who was the only member of the cast to have met J.R.R. Tolkien? For 1 point, who was the only member of the cast to have met J.R.R. Tolkien? Question 11 for 1 point. How many Academy Awards did the movies win combined? For 1 point, how many Academy Awards did the movies win combined? Okay, and the last question in this category for 1 point. What character did Orlando Bloom play in the movies? What character did Orlando Bloom play in the movies? Does anyone need us to go back to any question? So it's a total of 12 points for this category. Okay, question 1. The answer is Stuart Townsend was the actor that was originally cast as Aragorn. Stuart Townsend. Question 2. Viggo Mortensen played Aragorn in the movies. Viggo Mortensen. Question 3. Peter Jackson directed the Lord of the Rings movies. Peter Jackson. Question 4.
I couldn't remember that.
Predominantly, right? In
Yep,
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Movies
Yeah.
were filmed there.
They're known for, yeah.
Yes. Question 5. Sean Astin played Samwise. Sean Astin. Okay, question 6. For Frodo. That's what Aragorn says before charging into the last battle in Mordor. Question 7. Ian McKellen
Yeah,
was the actor that played Gandalf.
I would know that by now.
Ian McKellen. Okay, question 8. Arwen was played by Liv Tyler in the movies. Arwen. Question 9. New Line Cinema is the company that produced Lord of the Rings movies. Number 10. Christopher Lee was the only member of the cast to have met Tolkien.
You had to be old.
Yeah.
You know,
Question 11. 17
Oh.
Academy Awards were won combined for all the movies. So that's pretty good. 17. Okay, question 12. Legolas was the character that was played by Orlando Bloom. Personally, I never thought he looked better than when he played Legolas in the movies. Okay, so
what about Pirates of the Caribbean?
huh?
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh yeah, too, but I really like in Lord of the Rings. Okay.
All right, I'll give you.
Okay, so that's number 2, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay,
That's true then.
that's acceptable. All right.
Okay. Fifth
All right.
category, Jen.
All right, so if no one had any questions for the 4th category, we will move on to the 5th category with rings and swords. Okay. All right, so our first question is question 1 for 1 point. Who tries to destroy the ring at the Council of Elrond? For 1 point, who tries to destroy the ring at the Council of Elrond? All right, moving on to question 2 for 1 point. What is the only way to destroy the One Ring of Power? For 1 point, what is the only way to destroy the one ring of power? All right, moving on to question 3 for 1 point. What does Gollum call the ring of power? What does Gollum call the ring of power? All right, moving on to question 4 for 1 point. Which hero tries to steal the ring from Frodo? For 1 point, which hero tries to steal the ring from Frodo? All right, moving on to question 5 for 1 point, 3 points, excuse me. All right, so several rings were made for the elves, dwarves, and men. How many rings were made for the elves, the dwarves, and men? So you get 3 points for each one that you get right. So how many for the elves, how many for the dwarves, and how many for the men? 3 points total. All right, moving on to question 6 for 1 point. What special ability did the One Ring have, one that Frodo and Bilbo often used? For 1 point, what special ability did the One Ring have, one that Frodo often used? All right, moving on to question 7 for 1 point. In The Return of the King, which army does Aragorn summon using the sword of oh god, Elendil? I was doing so well. Elendil, I think maybe. In The Return of the King, which army does Aragorn summon using the sword of Elendil? I will take corrections, Bill.
He's good with it. I'm
Okay.
doing extraordinarily well. Yeah.
All right, moving on to question 8 for 1 point. What event marks the end of the Third Age? For 1 point, what event marks the end of the Third Age? My dog is looking at me like you woke me up. All right, moving on to question 9 for 1 point. What is the name of the powerful sword that glows blue when orcs are near? For 1 point, what is the name of the powerful sword that glows blue when orcs are near? All right, moving on to question 10 for 1 point. What is the name of the remade version of the sword that was broken? For 1 point, what is the name of the remade version of the sword that was broken? All right, moving on to question 11 for 1 point. What is the name of the ring that Gandalf wears? For 1 point, what is the name of the ring that Gandalf wears? All right, and the last question for this category, question number 12 for 1 point. Should be easy. What is the name of the first movie? For 1 point, what is the name of the first movie? All right. So that is it for category number 5. Anyone want me to go back? Any questions to go over again?
Oh,
No, okay. Otherwise, the total point amount for this category is 14. So 14 is the max.
yeah, right.
All right, let's take a look. All right, so Gimli is the one that tries to destroy the ring at the Council of Elrond. He takes his axe to it and it does absolutely nothing. Gimli. Okay. Question number 2. So the only way to destroy the One Ring of Power is to throw it into the volcano or Mount Doom. I will accept either one. You gotta throw it into the fiery pits of Mount Doom. Okay, moving on to question 3 for 1 point. What does Gollum call the ring of power? Precious. My precious, I will take that. All right. All right, moving on to question 4. Boromir is the hero who tries to steal the ring from Frodo.
Oh, yes.
But he tries. Boromir. And then he dies.
Hmm.
Okay, moving on to question 5. All right, so this is our 3-parter. We have elves, dwarves, and men. So 3 rings were made for the elves, 7 rings were made for the dwarves, and 9 were made for men. I'm not going to try to reiterate Galadriel's speech at the beginning of the movie. I will bungle it up. But 3, 7, 9. So if you got 1 out of the 3, you get 1 point. If you get 2 out of the 3, 2 points. And if you got all 3, congratulations, you get 3 points. Okay. All right, moving on to question 6. The special ability that the One Ring has is invisibility. If you put it on, you are partially in the spirit world and you become invisible to those around you. Invisibility. All right, moving on to question 7. In The Return of the King, Aragorn summons the army of the dead, all those dead spirits. Army of the dead. I'm not going to say the sword's name again.
Yeah. What? Yeah, and he says, "What say you?" I couldn't remember Army of the Dead, but I remember what he said to them.
Okay, moving on to question 8. The event that marks the end of the Third Age is when Sauron is killed, the One Ring is destroyed. I will accept either one. Just when Sauron is destroyed, the One Ring is destroyed. All right, moving on to question 9. All right, Sting is the name of the powerful sword that glows blue when orcs are near.
Yep.
Is Bilbo and Frodo's sword, Sting. Okay, moving on to question 10. Oh gosh. The name of the remake version of the sword that was broken, Iron Anduril. Gosh, sorry. I'm butchering it.
Andero?
Yeah, maybe. It has several names, but I think we're asking for Anduril, but yeah. Sword that was broken. Okay. Moving on to question 11. All right. The name of the ring that Gandalf wears is Narya. Narya.
I don't remember that at all.
It's got to be in the books. Yeah, it wasn't really in the movies, but I think it was mentioned in the books. Yeah. It can't all be easy. Sorry. Not like the next one, which everyone should get. Question 12. For category of the Rings and Swords, what is the name of the first movie? It is The Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring. Okay. Any questions about this category, Rings and Swords? Going once, going twice. Okay. All right. So that brings, we did 5 categories. So this is kind of the point total here.
Good.
The maximum total points you can get is 65. So if you fill out my little contact form there and you put 70 points, I'm going to raise my eyebrow at you because the maximum number you can get is 65. Go ahead and at some point, take a look at the chat. At the very beginning of the chat, we had the Google form, and I'll put it in once more time. And so if you would like to be in the running for a prize, please fill out that form. And that way we can contact you, we can find you, just try to get you a prize if you did win. All right. With that being said, I believe we have a bonus round. Is that correct, Jeanette?
It is. So just another point, so you know, any family members or staff members and their families are not eligible to win. And while we will recognize someone that has, won from staff or family, they're not eligible for the prizes. So,
All right.
um,
Thanks for playing.
so thanks for playing. Yes, it was great fun in having someone there to give us the maybe more correct answers. So the bonus round is just for fun. So total up your points for the first 5 categories and we'll go on to the bonus round if you choose.
Can,
So Bill,
can
Melanie
you,
wants to know how you did.
me?
I got 2 questions wrong. I got the stupid animal questions. And I got the number of Academy Awards wrong.
Oh, yeah. That's not really a Tolkien question, right?
Can you possibly just email me that link because I have my total. The big mess I made, I have my total.
On your screen.
Or just, do you want to write it in the chat, Phyllis?
Oh, yeah, I can do that right now. I don't care.
Yeah, because we know where to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know where to find you too. Okay, I'll just put my name.
Did you have a question, Rick?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you want these numbers now or do we do it after we're finished here?
You can do it after. It's just copy that link, and you can do it later.
I'll
Yeah,
do it now.
I'm
We
not
can do it
looking
now too. I just didn't know.
Yeah, it's really as long as if you want to get your information to that link, that way I can find you, and I'm not trying to scramble to see who's who.
Yeah, I say that only because by hitting, I don't go anywhere. I have to copy it and open it in another.
Oh, heck, yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
And I wish I could make
Oh, Vicky, good.
your one too.
Did the girls help tonight, Vicky?
No, they ran away on me.
Oh. And Bill, did you see Melanie's comment that you beat her? See, the challenge was worth it.
We gotta go to bed now.
Okay, so if you're heading in there for the bonus round, we'll start that now.
Here we go.
But if you wish to put in chat your score too, we just
Correct.
want to make sure that we have contact information for the folks that win.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if-
we'll do it that way.
okay. If you want a prize, you gotta at least fill out the form. Okay. All right.
Okay,
I gotta mute us.
so Jen does all these slides, so are you still here? If you don't want the adventure to end, join us for a bonus round. No points. Just wondering.
You want to do the bonus round?
Are we ready? Go for it, Jen.
Oh, the
Oh,
spider.
God.
We're not muted
Oh,
here.
what is Shelob? Shelob? Lobby.
Shelob.
I'd say pretty good for now, reading the books in about 20 years or 10 years or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, you did well. Okay, so question 1, what is
Sorry.
whatever?
Shelob.
How Jen said it. Okay, question 2. How many years did Gollum keep the ring in the Misty Mountains? Question 2, how many years did Gollum keep the ring in the Misty Mountains? Bill, good thing you're muted because I don't know what you're saying.
I'm talking to myself because I'm trying to recite Kate Blanchett. And it can, but I don't know the number. 50, and for 50 years it consumed.
Yeah.
He's been quoting Lord of the Rings for the past couple days at work.
As practice? Oh my
Question
god.
3. What is the name of the actor who played King Theoden? What is the name of the actor who played King Theoden? Ben? Whatever. At least the spelling's right. Question 4. What year was the Fellowship of the Ring movie released? What year was the Fellowship of the Ring movie released? Question 5. Who is the first character we see arriving at the Council of Elrond in the movie? Who is the first character we see arriving at the Council of Elrond in the movie? Question 6. How many meals do hobbits eat in a day? How many meals do hobbits eat in a day? Question 7. What meal comes after 11 C's? What meal comes after 11 C's? Question 8. What gift does Galadriel give Gimli at the parting feast? What gift does Galadriel give Gimli at the parting feast?
I'm laughing at your pronunciation. Sorry.
What is it? Galadriel?
Galadriel.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever seen this meme that says people who read do not know how to
It
pronounce
is true.
anything. So that is true. So the only way I could ever even pronounce anything is if I listen to an audio. Okay, question 9. What is a meeting of Ents called? What is a meeting of Ents called? Question 10. How many dwarfs accompany Bilbo in The Hobbit? How many dwarfs accompany Bilbo in The Hobbit? Did we just have 10 in the bonus round?
12. Got 2 more.
There's 12? Okay. Question 11. Which famous animator created the Lord of the Rings animated movie?
I've seen that too.
Which famous animator created the Lord of the Rings animated movie? Question 12. What language is the inscription written on the One Ring? What language is the inscription written on the One Ring? Does anyone need us to go back to a question? Okay, I guess not, so. Hit it, Jen. The journey is almost over. Let's see those answers.
You gotta have filler slides, you know.
Question 1. A spider. That's what that is. A spider. I'm not even going to try to say the name. Question 2. 500 years. That's how many years God kept the ring in the Misty Mountains. Question number 3. Bernard Hill is the name of the actor who played the king. Bernard Hill.
Yeah.
Question 4. 2001 was the year the Fellowship of the Ring was released. 2001. Question 5. Boromir was the first character we see at the Council of Elrond in the movie. Question 6. 6. That's how many meals hobbits eat in a day. Question 7. What meal comes after 11sies?
First lunch.
Yep, first lunch or luncheon. Okay. Question 8. 3 strands of her hair is the gift that
She.
was given to Gimli at the parting feast.
Sorry.
Question 9. Entmoot is what the meeting is called when the Ents meet. Okay, Entmoot. Question 10. 13 dwarfs accompany Bilbo in The Hobbit. Question 11. Ralph, I can't even say like a normal person's name here. Bakshi
Bakshi? Maybe, yeah.
was a famous animator that created the Lord of the Rings animated movie. And question 12. Black speech is language the inscription is written in. on the
Wow.
ring.
One, two, three.
Hopefully everyone had a good time. And if you want to make any comments is there a room where they could make comments in the forum, Jen? Because, you know, we're always looking for ideas of what the next trivia night might be. So we have quite a few. So if you have any suggestions, we're willing to take those too. You can email Jen at the Newington Library or me.
There's officially not, but you're welcome to just throw it in like into the name field or whatever field you want to throw it in, and I'll see it and read it. It's a good idea to do next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was nice seeing folks I haven't seen in a bit. Oh, but next time is Trivial Trivia Night. So that's just going to be general questions. There's no theme.
Where the theme is that there is no theme. And that'll be on Friday, March 24th, 7 o'clock as usual.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and your questions.
Okay, take care, everyone. Thanks.